Today, we are joined by an incredible man, somebody who has overcome adversity, forged his own path in this world, and today he's sharing all of that knowledge with us. And I'm so excited to welcome Bubba to the show. So, thank you so much for joining us today. I am really excited to dive in with you and fascinated about how you got from where you were to this incredible feeling that you've had and now sharing it with the world. So thank you so much for being with us, Bubba.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be here.
So what was your breaking point when you realized that you had to forge your own path?
Well, I'm a little bit different. I didn't realize I needed to blaze my own path because I was really stuck in this medicine model, like doctors, medicine, doctors, medicine. I always thought that I was going to be stuck with MS forever, migraines forever, bipolar forever, the psoriatic arthritis forever. So to me, there was no way to break through because my mind was all trapped up in these stories. I say now that I know that a diagnosis is information, not destiny. But I didn't know that at the point. I took all that information and the thousands of articles out there that talk about this being incurable. I see that's not the truth anymore. I was really guided in a paranormal way, which may be surprising to a lot of people if we're trying to undo this trauma. We got to realize the mind has a very hard time with figuring things out and understanding how to move forward. So, in my own personal experience, I was trapped in the mind, that I was incurable. That's all I heard. So, that was my reality. And I didn't think there was a possibility that I could be a healthy man today. I'm healthy today. There's no more MS or anything. And what was for me, the shifting point was I went on a ghost hunt because as a person with MS, I was dealing with a lot of fatigue. So I was a couch potato. I used to watch a lot of TV. I used to watch ghost hunting shows, but I didn't know if it was real or fake until I actually went on a ghost hunt. Then I felt somebody sit next to me, literally sit right next to me that wasn't there. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So ghosts are real, spirits are real. So what's this about? So then I started to read a book from a medium because mediums apparently talk to dead people. So I was reading this book. Then eventually in this book, they talked about how they used meditation to get into their space. But they were also talking about the benefits of meditation. And one of the benefits was inner peace. And like, I need inner peace. I was so stressed out and overwhelmed with life. So I had a very simple meditation practice. Because if you told my bipolar OCD brain the rules to meditation, I've been so focused on the rules, I would have never gotten out of the mind. I'd be like so focused. Am I doing this right? So I was sitting there meditating, but I was under the impression that meditation means you stop thinking. So when I would be sitting in my meditation space, the mind would start thinking, and I would literally tell my mind to stop thinking. So mind thinking, stop thinking, mind thinking, stop thinking. So this went on for about 3, 4 days. Then I just stopped myself one day. It's like, wait a second, wait a second. If I'm aware of my thoughts, then I'm not my thoughts. I realized I was chasing thoughts. Then I realized I was the observer, the witness to these thoughts. So my next question was, well, if I'm not my thoughts, well, then who am I? Because this is a huge epiphany for me when I had separation from my thoughts. Because when I was in my 20s, I nearly killed myself twice because I was stuck in that thought system that life is too hard, life is too difficult. So I believed my thoughts as the source of truth. But once I had that space, then everything shifted. And then I was just sitting with that question, well, then who am I if I'm not my thoughts? Because I was really attached to them. So about 2 weeks later, I just heard a voice coming out of meditation. So I was just sitting 5 minutes twice a day. I just heard a voice saying perfect spirit. I'm like, that's it. Natasha, your spirit is perfect. My spirit is perfect. Everyone listening, watching, your spirit is perfect. But we get attached to this body and mind. So it wasn't me figuring out how to heal all my traumas and injuries. 'Cause I didn't talk about it, but I was also hit by a car at age 6. That's where my trauma started, where I was nearly killed by a van at age 6, and that led to 40 years, roughly 40 years of health challenges after that accident. So once the mind got quiet, I knew myself as spirit. Then I just felt this great sense of peace come over me after I heard that voice, and I just knew that all is well and all my health challenges were over. So at that point, I just followed this inner knowing, this inner guide within me to recover the body and mind. So I knew my health challenges were over that day. It just took about 14 months for the body to catch up to that.
That is amazing, amazing. So, I have some unrelated questions. So when you went on the ghost hunt and you felt this thing sit next to you, like, what went on in your mind? Like, it's so, not I completely believe in that, and I believe unseen, but a lot of our listeners probably don't. So what was that for you, having that, like, epiphany, like, "Oh my goodness, there's things that we don't see that we can experience."
Yeah, so when I was watching those ghost hunting shows, I didn't know if it was real or fake. It was TV, it could be scripted. I don't know, it's TV. So when I actually went there and I had that direct experience, there was no fear. I just felt somebody sit next to me that wasn't there, but there wasn't a sense of fear. It was just more like a realization, oh, ghosts are real. So what is this ghost world? So then it led me to the book with the medium where they talked about meditation. So I'm one of these rare individuals where ghost hunting led me to meditation.
And so do you think that that had played a part in your healing, that you were able to separate mind, body, and spirit because you had that, experience of feeling the unseen?
Yeah, 'cause it's really interesting. Because before I was, like, really trapped in this 3D world, like, mind, body, we are that. So I really had no sense of spirit. It really wasn't part of my world, like, religion and spirituality wasn't really a part of my world. Because when I was suicidal in my 20s, I remember my uncle coming into the mental room, the hospital I was in, and he try to cast the demons from my head. So that sort of pushed me away from religion, trying to cast the demons like I was possessed or something. But in a way, I was possessed by my thoughts, but I didn't know that because I didn't have space at that point. So yeah, so just having that direct experience that ghosts are real, and that really just opened up. So maybe I was more open to that fact that ghosts are simply spirits without bodies. So maybe on some level, I saw that, and the voice just reminded me that everyone is spirit. We just simply have bodies. They don't.
So, I mean, you had a lot of physical ailments. I mean, and that in itself creates trauma. Just having those physical experiences. So how did you recalibrate and release all of that from your body? Because you released the physical symptoms of having the illnesses and the diagnoses and all of those things, but then you also healed the trauma that was associated with it.
Right. Yeah. Because it really started being hit at age 6, where I nearly bled out, broken arm, broken hip, head trauma. That's really where the trauma originated and created a lot of issues. So, yeah, to recover all that trauma was just really following that voice. But then there was still after I recovered, I didn't even realize this. I was still dealing with some PTSD from the accident. So when I was writing my first book, in the first chapter where I talked about that accident 6 years old, there was still some emotional stuff that I needed to process that was sort of repressed that came out. But then through meditation and just sitting with that and feeling those emotions and allowing that power to dissolve as I relived that. So the memory is still there, but the power of it isn't now like the PTSD where it's an old memory, it still has the same emotional power to it. So I was able to release that after writing my book in that first chapter of reliving everything that I went through. So I was able to use my meditation process to work through those emotional things I wasn't even aware of at that point until I actually put pen to paper and say, okay, what did what did I experience? What was my process?
So you know, to sit with those emotions and you know, like some people do this for years. They meditate for years and they still can't sit with those difficult emotions. And here you were, having all of these things going on. And really, and I completely understand what it's like to have the bipolar OCD brain. My brother is highly, highly OCD. So I get it. It's not for you to sit down in meditation is really there's challenges around that more so than the average person. So you sitting in meditation. I'm just trying to picture this because to me this is just incredible what you've done. You're sitting in meditation and you're willing to feel these deep feelings that people try and avoid. How did you get to that place?
Yeah, it's just I can't explain it. After I heard that voice and I just knew that all is well, that there was no harm coming to me. So when you sit in this meditation, you're dealing with these emotions, you're going to have a good cry. You're going to release all that stuck emotions. And I talk about that. Sometimes we just need a good cry that we're really suppressing, we're holding things in. For some people, it's a good cry, it's a screaming, it's giving it an outlet some way. And I didn't try to suppress those emotions. That's what was key to release them. And that's where I help my clients today is if you need to cry, yell, do that. We don't want to suppress emotions because I want to keep things the same. We need to keep energy flowing. And a good cry is a nice way to allow energy to flow, or a good scream, a good primordial scream, whatever it may be. Get that energy out so you can bring in new energy.
So for people who are like, who they cry, but they don't finish their cry, or they get angry, but they're not getting angry at the right thing. So they continuously have like this well of emotion, but they never let it really flourish, like fully develop. And they just keep having these little outbursts. How does one deal with that to really let it completely how do you know when you've just completely gone through that emotion?
Yeah, for some individuals, it may be working with a coach, working with a therapist, somebody that can hold space for them, that remind them that it's safe to let go. So it's safe to release. Because typically we're not completely releasing because we don't feel safe. We feel like we might lose it or something might come. So you may need to sit with somebody that can hold space for you, that's understanding, or even like a best friend or somebody that can really confide in, that can hold that space and not judge you and remind you that you are safe. It's a lot of the safety issues, that it's safe to be us, and we're not being us. Then the body starts to malfunction. We start to suppress all of this. And I really held this within myself with 3 autoimmune diseases, that I was always filled with self-criticism, judgment, and all these suppressed emotions created these 3 autoimmune diseases: the multiple sclerosis, the psoriasis, and the psoriatic arthritis.
So I find it always fascinating. You mentioned that like self um self-doubt and self-loathing. You didn't mention that, but you mentioned the self-doubt and I, you know, always wonder in my mind and you are like you'd probably be able to answer this best. Um these so many people suffer from autoimmune disease today and it is related to the thoughts and the feelings and the experiences that we've had, I believe. So, and I always find it's when there are strong beliefs of self-doubt and self-loathing, you are you are attacking yourself mentally. Your body starts to attack itself physically. Do you find a correlation in that?
Yes, 'cause what that negative thoughts are doing, they're actually creating a poisonous inner environment within the body. We release more of these stress hormones, more of these chemicals that are not good for us, so the body does start attacking itself. And everyone that I've worked with that has an autoimmune disease has an element of self-criticism, self-judgment, and it can be even the subtlest things that we not even aware of that we discount. Like you walk by a mirror and you see a reflection, like, my hair is not right today. Why am I wearing this shirt? And the mind gets into all these stories. But that even in that subtlest judgment is giving you chemicals in the body that are not helpful and supportive.
And so how can we change that?
It's really about practicing acceptance. That self-acceptance is so hard, but it's one of the first steps is to accept yourself fully and completely, that we're imperfectly perfect. That's the human experience. There is no getting it right. And we hold ourselves to these impossible standards. And we just need to relax and say, we're doing our best. Despite the mind chatting away, you can only do what you can do. This is where your awareness is, your alertness, your understanding of the situation. You're always doing your best right there in that moment. But we have a mind that likes to look back in hindsight and insist that we can do better. At that particular moment in time, no, this is where your skills were. As time goes on, your skills improve. But we can't go back and be that person with that skill level at that time. So it's wasted energy by looking back and playing the what if game, the would have game, could have game, should have game, all those things that we get into that I call the head trash that really keeps us stuck in the garbage, the rubbish.
So how has your life changed? I wanna hear, I mean,
Oh,
I can only
it's
imagine, so it's just I wanna hear from your own words, like, how, like, doing this work on yourself, how has your life changed?
well, it's completely different. Like it's surreal. For 38 years, I was mentally and physically disabled. So I look back now, I'm like, I'm healthy. I'm playing like a kid. That there's no more worry. There's no more stress. It's like, oh, this is life. We're here to have fun, to enjoy this moment. But the mind gets into all these stories. So my life really flipped around. So I left the corporate job. I'm just doing this thing of helping individuals based on my own life experience that I teach from what I discovered, that I never had a spiritual teacher. And then life just really shifts. Like my first wife that I was married to at the time, that also dropped away because she was still in that victim mentality that things are happening to her. And we were just in two opposite spectrums. I was happy enjoying life. She was still dealing with her stuff. And she she didn't really lean into me like, how can you help me move beyond this? It was just easier for her to stay in that space. So, things just drop away that aren't supporting you when you're in this space. It's like where our mindset is, we'll find people to help us create that reality. So, if you're in a victim mindset, you'll find a lot of people around you that are complaining about how hard life is, as opposed to people in this other mindset saying, isn't life fun, enjoyable? I had this experience and this experience. And it's just a completely different paradox that we get in, that our mindset really is creating our reality, and things that support us get attracted to us, and things that no longer support us drop away.
So if someone comes to you and they wanna work with you, they can see that there's things are not working in their life, um, and they're experiencing, adult situations that are based on childhood trauma, let's say. How do you work with them?
Well, I work with individuals two ways, like my inner healer school, the group with weekly classes, or what I have is also a personal 10-day intensive. This is where I work with an individual for roughly 10 days. I mean, 10 days straight, we're working together. So
So
the
that's
first day I'm
every
doing,
single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right through.
we're just trying to, but there's only 3 Zoom calls, but every day we're messaging each other like what's going on. Because on that first day, we're learning about your history. I'm giving you a daily practice to stand in your truth. And then we do a breakthrough session where we start clearing some of this stuff out of the way. So then day two, we're sending messages like what's coming up for you, what's your trigger, how's the daily practice, and just understanding. Because what I'm seeing, what happens, people are doing really well, like all this head trash, all this debris, all this pain body is being washed and cleared away because I'm doing this through an energetic level. I'm trying to move my mind aside and just coming into spirit and allow spirit to do this clearing. So things are clearing away nicely, but after a few days, the mind will start dragging things up because it doesn't want to give up control. So I get that feedback. Energetically, I'm working on their pain body. They're doing the daily practice. Day 5, we're doing a video call again, another breakthrough session. Because when I'm sitting with them, I'm not really working on the physical body per se, because I don't know what they're doing in that moment. And they can have some really profound experiences if I'm working directly on the body, like seeing flashes of white light or whatever it may be. So then this day 6 to 9, they continue the daily practice. I'm sitting with them virtually, and we're just energetically clearing this stuff out. That I'm really clearing out this pain body, the head trash, which is the negative thoughts, the doubts, the worries, anything that's not supportive. And I do see flashes of traumas and things in their past that I cannot explain. Like this woman in her 30s was having relationship issues, so I clearly saw an image from when she was 5 or 6. I'm like, well, what's going on here? This is what I'm seeing. And she explained that she just moved to the area and she couldn't participate in the dance performance that was going on at that time. So she just developed the belief that she was not good enough, not worthy, so that would affect her relationships. We cleared the pain from that, the discomfort, and everything opened back up, but it was a repressed memory from something that she forgot about, that the mind drags stuff up. So I'm seeing these flashes all the time, or I'm bringing doctors forward in the spiritual realms, and I have all sorts of wild stories. Like a woman coming to me who needed right knee surgery, really didn't want right knee surgery. So she scheduled a time with me. And I said, well, who's this doctor? And she's like 60, 70 years old. She's a senior lady. And so she's like, oh, that was my childhood doctor. So this childhood doctor came through, and to this day, she still hasn't had right knee surgery. It wasn't me. I get my mind out of the way and allow spirit to lead. And I call forward the doctors, and they do these things that I can't explain. I'm just a conduit. That's all I do. I get out of the way and let spirit come. And yeah, when I'm doing these sessions, they don't drain me, they uplift me. So I do 4 or 5 in a row. I may not sleep that night. I'm just in that energy.
So, you had this experience when your uncle came to, like, pray over you and do an exorcism, and you really went off, like, spirituality and religion, and now you are this, like, conduit for energy healing and work. How do you now bring those 2 parts of yourself together into this whole you who you are today?
Yeah, so I'm just teaching from my lived experiences that what I'm seeing from religion, for example, is a lot of dogma and rules and ways to be. And really, spirituality is about being releasing all the rules, all the requirements, all the dogma, because true spirituality is freedom. It's not about rules, requirements. It's doing no harm to others. That's probably the only rule, not to harm another person or another being, but just to really do what you feel is right to do, and to understand that we inhabit this body. We are the masters of our domain. But like I know my own experience, I gave my power over to my 7 doctors that I have, that it was their job to fix me. So when I'm really doing the inner healer, I'm really igniting their own spirit so they get their own wisdom. And from there, things happen.
I mean, I love this. This is like this so like my maybe secret passion is energy work and spiritual healing. And um just to see how people have transformed, like you have transformed your entire life through activating all of this around you. What has been like the biggest success story besides your own? Because your own is incredible. What has been your biggest success story?
I don't know why. Yeah, my biggest success story, it's hard to really describe what that is. It could be the cancer patient on her deathbed, and I spent 90 minutes with her. And, she was literally days away from death. And I just spent 90 minutes with her, just bringing in this grace, this energy that I bring in. And she lived for another 5 years. She really wanted to see her son graduate high school. So once her son did graduate high school, she sort of like, I guess, gave up and say, okay, I can leave now. So she got another 5 years. So that was one of my greatest success stories, was to see this woman actually got to see her son graduate hospital. And when I was really surprised about that, when I saw her like 3, 4 years later, she was actually in really, really good health. You would never know she was a cancer patient. So when she died a year later, I was really surprised by that. I guess she just decided, okay, I'm good. I got this. I got to accomplish everything that I wanted. So that was one of my greatest successes, was to see that cancer patient, or just all these individuals that I'm touching, the person with the knee, people with cancer, people with fibro, even people with Parkinson's disease are getting improvements with this divine grace. Because this grace can do all things. It's not about the level of the mind, as that you were talking about before, is I'm just a channel for spirit. I get my mind out of the way to the best of my ability, and I'll spirit to use me as a vessel, I guess, and to connect and merge with these individuals.
This is amazing. I mean, I actually would love to ask you something else. So, are there people that you work with who don't have physical ailments, but they do have stuff happening in their life that is um, not productive?
Yeah, so one of these, what you're talking about, is really interesting. So I had this business owner coming to me. His business was really slow. He was also dealing with health challenges, but he had a lot of beliefs around his business. So when I was sitting with him clearing in his pain body, I suddenly get a message from him that he's got all this new business coming in, and it's really hard for him to schedule time for us to sit. So I didn't really get to work on his healing so much for the physical health, but I cleared out all of his junk on his business, and his business blossomed when I got him out of the way and allowed this business to just flow naturally without him creating these stories that it's seasonal and all these other stories. But I see a lot of people that don't want physical healing, but just want to know who they are and tap into this greater essence. So I remind people that an inner healer is not just about healing the physical body, it's healing our relationships, our finances, our careers, 1,001 things. The inner healer, our inner healer, knows the way forward because it's connected to all that is. It's not guessing. The mind is constantly guessing on how to move forward, but within all of us is the answer that we seek. If we can relax that mind, get our own insights, then to trust those insights, and then to take action on those insights, then life will unfold in ways the mind doesn't understand.
That's amazing. Well, Babas, thank you so much for being with us here today. I'm excited to share what you do with my listeners and with the world. So, truly, thank you. Where can people find you?
Yes. Yeah, so if they go to my website, beyondheadtrash.com, I have all sorts of free goodies on there, like my book, a free healing session. I have my community, which is $5 for the first month, and it's just $5 a week. And there's literally over 100 hours of content in my community. And I have just content everywhere because I suffered for 38 years. People don't need to go through that experience, that there's another way forward if we can just relax and tap into that deeper essence within us, then everything is possible. So you will see me at Beyond Head Trash, and I'm all over social media as Baba Sam. Shelley, you can find me, or even if you search the Miracle Man, it may show up as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.